You're listening to the 212 Roundtable Podcast. You can find us on SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Play, and Google Podcasts, as well as Apple Podcasts. Be sure to leave a review and subscribe. You can also find the Brew Club at 212.beer. That's the number 2, the word 12.beer. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by searching 212 Brew Club. Now on to the show.
It's recording.
Okay, so all right. Well, it's funny because on my way here, I was like, it'd be great if we can just go straight into a conversation. Because we always start it with, welcome to another episode of the 212 Roundtable, which I just snuck in there. But I think it's fun. I think it's a better feeling that we're already in mid-conversation, which we actually were. And we are here. We are here for a new episode of the 212 Roundtable. I'm joined with Brandon, as usual.
Hello.
And Brandon, who did you manage to snag on our show with us today?
I know. So should we say Shalanda or is it Afro Beer Chick?
Either one, yes.
It's both.
Yeah.
I am
Technically, it is both. Yeah. So we've got Shalanda from Afro Beer Chick, afrobeerchick.com. Mm-hmm. Also Afro Beer Chick on all social media, right?
Yep.
So the
That's
Twitters, the Facebooks, and the Instagrams, you got
pluralized.
That. Yep, all plural. But yeah, so this is awesome. I'm happy that we were actually able to put this together.
Yeah.
I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. We kind of shot out some dates, and this kind of worked out. So, but yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and Shalanda, go ahead and introduce yourself. I mean, we've already done the basic intro, but kind of say hi.
Hey, everybody.
All right,
Thanks for joining us.
That's it. Thanks for showing up. See you next time. I'm going in for a sip too.
Yeah. So this is kind of a little bit different. So normally we have a particular style that we kind of dig into when we talk about stuff during the podcast. But since we have a special guest, we decided just to pull out a bunch of bottles and let the guest choose what we start with. So, Shalanda, what did you choose?
I chose, 2014 Imperial Pajamas from Beguile.
Yeah.
Gold winner, GABF.
Yeah,
Congrats, guys.
Yeah, congratulations.
That was awesome. I was stoked when they won.
Yeah.
And I was sad that I was not there this year.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I
we
was
missed
supposed to be
out.
there, too.
Yeah,
Oh,
Have you been before?
Nope, this was supposed to be my first year, and it was I had all the expenses covered and all that. And then my daughter was like, "Hey, Mom, guess what? That's my I'm going to homecoming that weekend." I was like,
kids, the best and the worst.
They've been like, "What'd you forget? You're not going to homecoming that weekend." I
was like,
going to Denver.
Man, that sounds like some shit I would have done. I was like, sorry, Mackenzie.
being this was her
gotta
freshman
go.
year, I was like, "Okay, I gotta
Yeah.
kind of go." But yeah,
That makes sense. Yeah, I haven't. I feel like there's something. Prom. Prom, I did that. Mackenzie was going to prom, and we were going to Mount Vernon for the homebrew festival. That was prom on Saturday. I was like, "Are you sure you don't want me to be there?" She's like, "Go, it's your beer thing." I was like, "This feels bad, but you gave me the okay. Bye."
see, dads can get away with that though. Moms can't.
That's true.
Moms cannot. We do not have that leeway. We have to be there.
Man, I'm glad my wife's
Taking
not here
notes?
right now. Yeah.
Cans and cans.
I'm glad Laura doesn't listen to this podcast because she would totally just be like, maybe I should be a guest with you sometime. You don't have to, divvy up the parenting here.
Yeah, right. So, thoughts on the beer?
It's really good. I haven't had it in maybe about a couple of years. A year.
You haven't had this one in about 5 years.
Yeah, this is 2014. So this one is really good.
Yeah.
It aged very well.
So, and we didn't record this because obviously it's when you first came in. We talked about, people who cellar beer and have like beer just on hand forever,
Like
which
you.
I have this
Right
problem. But so this kind of worked out then. I feel I only age things that I think will actually turn out, I don't want to say better, but will still be decent enough to drink a couple years down the line and have a story to go along with it or something like that. Because like when that came out, that was my favorite Beguiled beer.
I remember getting that in 2014, and
That was
thinking the
like
same
for that stout, I was like, this is awesome.
thing. Yeah, I love that one. I feel like
is there a barrel-aged version, right?
this is the barrel.
This is the
Yeah,
barrel-aged
sorry.
version,
I'm like,
yeah.
wait.
But well, and they're about to release this year's. Isn't that next month?
Yep.
Yeah, because it's right around the same time that Prop Day with Goose Island happens. But yeah, I remember really liking this, and I feel like this was the first large format bottle I bought from Beguile. Was when this one came out, and I'd never had it before. I drank it to myself because back in 2014, I was just slamming bombers by myself.
I still do that.
Yeah, I just did tell you I had the Imperial Stout from when he was at home.
I do that with no hesitation.
It's funny though, because I when I first started getting into beer, that's how like I didn't really know a lot of people that were into craft beer, so I was just grabbing beers. Oh, go to the local liquor store, grab stuff, sit down, and I'd sit at home. And this is like, and I've talked about this before on the podcast too. I had this ancient like video blog where I was doing my own video reviews of like beers, and I'm like sitting in there. And then I had a beer, like a blog that I did where I just wrote beer reviews, and it was supposed to be like the normal guy's beer reviews where I wasn't using like fancy words like aroma and hop profile. Something like that. It's like, I'm like my description would be like, it tastes fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, something like that.
I think that was the Pale Ale episode you talked about.
Yeah,
right?
so and just those were the days where I would just sit there and drink, and then that's when I met the people at, again, another plug for Fishman's. So I started working with them, and then I met more people. So it was like, finally, I don't have to drink alone anymore. So.
Just to note, we did already mention Goose Island and Fishman within the first 10 minutes of this episode. So.
Prop day.
Prop day, yes, I'll be there.
Yeah, and we might. I'm trying to maybe convince Brandon that he and I record a little bit while we're there. Maybe get some audio. So maybe we can meet up with you there.
Sure, I will definitely be there.
I kind of want to talk.
I'm actually going to look into like press pass type stuff to see if there's anything we could do. Like if we just wanted to set up and record somewhere, like if they'd let us be like, look, we got tickets, we're coming anyway. Can we interview some folks?
Sure.
And if they're just like cool. Then, right.
And if they're like, no, not really, then I'm walking around with my phone.
Yeah, exactly.
And asking people.
So we're recording our own private conversations. Don't listen to this, Goose Island.
But also, please be a sponsor.
Yeah. So we invited Shalonda onto the podcast just because it's nice to have a female that's so into craft beer. And I met Shalonda many, many moons ago at Fishman's, I think at a Tap This event. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the first time I met Nick, too. So you and Nick were there. Mm-hmm. And I had been talking to Nick previously, and I think I convinced him to come because I told him it was going to be cool. And then he told you it was going to be cool, and then you both showed up, and I was like, this is cool.
Turns out you guys were right.
But so that was many moons ago, and during that time, you were a part of Chicago Girls Pint Out.
Yes.
So, and I know like you've probably done interviews before, and I've seen some like you've talked about this in the past. But like, how did that come to fruition? How did you get involved with that?
Okay, so Nick gave me my first craft beer in 2009, and it was like, okay, I need to find other women who drink beer. You know, I say, I can't always hang around with you because, you know, you hang around with a bunch of dudes.
Men are gross.
You know, so...
We smell. We like to talk over people as I'm doing to you right now.
That's fine. So, in like 2010, I came across a couple of chapters like Barley's Angels and Girls Paint Out. And I reached out to both of them, and Girls Paint Out, Tamara. She reached right back out and said, hey, we don't have a chapter in Chicago. And they had chapters all over at that point.
Oh, wow.
That's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Like they had, it was like, y'all are straight up national. Like, it was huge. So I was like, hey, can I start a chapter here in Chicago? And she was like, yeah, go for it. So I did that for a couple of years. But it was like, it became hard because, you know, trying to do events. And at the time, my kids were smaller. But now I had to step back. I said, hey, I have to turn this over. I can't do this anymore. And, you know, I was still drinking in the background, still going to events with Nick and, you know, all that. But I wasn't as vocal. So 2 years ago, I was chatting up with my coworker. He was like, you know, you really need to get back into beer because you have way too much to say. You have a big mouth and you have a kick-ass afro. He was like, call yourself Afro beer chick. And I was like, man, I am so on it.
That's great.
Yeah.
So is that where the Afro beer chick name came from?
Yeah, because we were sitting there talking about beer. I had went to some event and my afro was out, and it's huge when it's out. He was like, you talk about beer, you have this kick-ass afro, you are a chick, Afro beer chick, Shalonda. I was like, yes, that's
it all
me.
just makes sense. That's
Yeah,
good.
it all came together.
That's awesome.
I just like the ABC aspect to it too.
I didn't even put that together. Holy shit. ABC.
ABC.
Oh, man. That's
So,
even cooler.
yeah.
In this episode of the podcast, Tony learns how to spell.
Tony learns his alphabet.
That's awesome. So, and it's funny too because I think it may be your pinned tweet at the top of your thing about the Afro beard chick comes from not the fact that you're black, but the fact that you have an afro. And it's funny, like I had never thought of making that like. I mean, you are a black woman, and I never thought of the fact of making that. Like, I was like, because every picture I've seen of you, I'm like, she's got an afro, she's got an afro. And then like, when I saw that your name, like you had now, we're going by the name Afro Beer Chick. I'm like, well, that just makes sense. And then I was like, wait, somebody thought that? And I'm like,
yeah.
Stupid people.
You know, you have some people say, "Oh my God, why is everything about race? Why is your name?" It's not hair. This one has nothing to do with my race. Have you seen my hair? Like, you know, I have this huge afro. Yeah, it's about my hair and the fact that I drink beer. So we just put it all together.
So if when I let you wouldn't be able to tell, but when I was younger, my hair still does get curly. I don't let it grow out anymore. My hair in humidity would get huge and like it would puff out like an afro. So I wonder if that race question would ask if I was like Afro beer dude, if I let my hair grow out, I'd be like, what? Why are you gonna make it a race thing? Like, dude, it's my hair.
Right.
Look at it. At one point I looked like Hurley from Lost because I let it get real long. And I was almost up to 300 pounds. This was senior year of high school. Not a good time. Anyway.
That's when I was 300 pounds, senior year of high school.
Jesus. Look at us go.
You would think they would say something bad about the high school that we went to, like, oh man, it just made you guys fat.
Mine happened in Georgia though, and I discovered Chick-fil-A at the time for the first time back in 1999.
Got that answer for you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Southern
wow.
cooking. It was good.
Yep.
Sorry, I totally derailed the importance of guys, we suck.
No, but so I mean, we were talking about like how the whole girls pine out thing like came to fruition, and it's cool to know like because I knew you were like the president or whatever of the Chicago chapter, and then I think you had Jess with you at the time. Like she was she like one of the first people to hop on?
We had the very first meetup we had it at Small Bar, and Jess and some other ladies, they came, and then I later linked up with like Heather Conderherd and Aaron from Festival through Nick for that one. So, you know, we rocked it for a good couple of years, and, you know, I mean, and the chapter is still going.
Yeah.
It's still going. You know, Alicia, she's handling it now. She's doing a great job.
So are you active in it as much as you can at this point, or
At all?
I can't honestly say that I've been active at all.
Okay.
Like like if they ever need me to step in and do something for them, I'm there. But I can't say that I've been as active.
Sure. Just calling you out on the podcast. No.
Calling me on the podcast, yeah.
I mean,
Help start it. It's not my problem.
yeah, but when you turn the reins over, there's
Yeah,
I mean, there should be no expectation that you.
Well, and you still have other things going on, and you're busy with your own stuff as well, so that makes sense.
Yeah, and plus my daughter was like, Mom, don't add on anything else. I'm like, look, first of all, we have one out the house. She's in Air Force, and we have one more in high school, and that's it. Mama is doing hers. So, yes.
There you go. Hey, my daughter just started college.
Ah.
She started college.
Hey.
Loyola.
I just showed my
Oh, she's
shirt.
up there by me then, huh?
Oh yeah, she's right.
Cool.
She's right there by you.
Yes.
So yeah, I my wife and I have no interests. We have enough. We're surrounded by babies all over the place. Mm-hmm. I'm 37, 38 in February. We're empty nesters, and it's pretty good.
I'm 40.
But I love your son.
There.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, Brandon, you're screwed for the next
I'm
18 years.
and I'm not an empty nester. But
Dude.
got a 5-month-old for sale.
Oh my God! Do it.
No.
If that was true, I would.
Editor's notes.
He's. I'm not editing that out. Your son's awesome. I would take your son in a heartbeat. Oh, edit that in case something. No.
Well, I'm not taking anybody's kids. I'm trying to go get my own kids, okay? I'm trying to downsize kids and dogs, okay? So, yeah.
I got 2 cats. We got 2 cats. That's what we're working with right now.
So you made you said when we were talking about kind of the thing about the Chicago or Girls Pine Out that you had your first craft beer in 2009.
Yes.
Do you remember what it was?
It was Sophie, Goose Island.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was Nick that gave it to me. He brought it home. He's like, hey, look, I got something I wanted you to try. And I think that's when he was really starting to get into beer himself. So it was like, he poured this beer and it poured like a champagne. And I'm like, this is not beer. And I'm tasting it. You can taste the citrus flavors. It did not taste like water. You know, I was used to drinking like Heineken and Corona and all that back in the day. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. I don't know if it's snobbish to say, but I haven't had any of that since.
No,
it's
I
not.
think it's all a preference of taste and things.
I think I might have a
like.
2009 Sophie.
Ooh.
I do think I might have a really old one, though.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure you do. We drink Pierre Jacques.
Yeah.
That's the one we drink. Wow, that's a good one to start with, though. So
Yeah, because
2009.
we've talked before, like, what we thought our first ones was.
I thought. Well, I said Hacker Shore was one of the first like non big beer beers that I had. But I want to say that, like, I think my friend, and I'll go back and listen to this and listen to the other episode and be like, why are you lying about this? But I'm pretty sure it was, I think it was Bell's Oberon. That was the first beer that I had. Because the girl I was seeing at the time, good thing again, Laura doesn't listen to this. She was like, she's like, I think she mentioned craft beer. I said, I even tried others. She's like, oh man, have you had Stella Artois before? And she's like, that's not what I mean. And she's like, try this. And it was, Bell's Oberon, and kind of got me started on that. I was still also drinking the like Newcastle and Bud Light at the house, and I still love High Life champagne beers.
We drink that a lot when we brew. Because it's cheaper, and we get less drunk.
Yeah, because then this would be something. One of the beers that we're possibly drinking is what I'm holding up. This is 10.5%. So this is what I grab. We start drinking that during the brew day. I'm done by the time the boil is over.
Yeah, and we kind of have an unwritten rule that is when we brew that we don't drink until the boil.
Well, that's a club rule.
Yeah, well, yes.
When the club is brewing something for something specific, that's a club rule. We no breaking.
I try to abide by it most times, like avoiding stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I'll drink a High Life. At that time we got like the mini bottles of High Life or whatever. That was
are
perfect.
great.
It was like a 6-ounce bottle. I'm like, yeah, I can sip on this.
Yeah. But anytime I'm brewing at my house, I'm like, yeah.
But see, yeah, Miller was my, excuse me, that was the first beer I ever had because my grandmother lives in Milwaukee and she used to work there for like 40 years.
Oh man, that's
So
awesome.
she used to bring home
those
cases
stories.
of beer as a part of her package, and my uncles were always opening it up, and we were like, "Hey, give me a sip, give me a sip."
We like vintage beer. You still got any of those cases?
Do you remember back then? Was it just MGD, Miller Lite, or High Life, or was it just all of them? It didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
Yeah.
It was just
I didn't know if there was
whatever she bought to the house. That's what they would break open.
That's so
awesome.
cool.
Yeah. Wish I had that in my life.
And I don't know if I talked about this. I remember when my grandparents, we were cleaning out their house, and I was in the basement, and I was going through. There was all these old bottles. I don't remember my grandfather ever really drinking, but in the basement, like under the stairs, there was a line of bottles, and to this day, I regret not taking them. They were like old school Heineken bottles that were still had beer in them. They were capped,
Whoa.
but you could see that they were like halfway down. There was like from the 70s and the 80s,
Man.
and I was like, I should have taken those.
Let me tell you, you find some of the coolest stuff in old people's houses.
Yeah,
So
that is true.
I had the family home in my grandparents, and when my grandparents had passed, cleaned out the house, and my grandfather used to be a liquor distributor. He was never a big drinker. So he would have bottles of Hennessy and Cavassier and all this stuff in the house. And he would have some in like decanter bottles. So after he passed,
man.
come to find out, Nick and I went to a Hennessy event and he had like 3 Hennessy bottles and a decanter. Come to find out, and I'm showing them the picture. They say, oh, this is worth like $2,000. Oh, this is worth like $3,000. Oh, this is worth $1,500. It was never been opened.
Oh my God.
So it's like, you find some of the coolest stuff in old people's houses.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So what happened with those bottles?
Actually, my dad has them.
Okay.
Oh,
Good.
Yeah, no, no. It was so. I knew then, like, that certain things had to be of some value because,
Sure.
like, and we're talking about from the bottles from like 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s.
That's so badass.
Yeah.
Oh man. But a part of me also wants to know what it tastes like now.
I wouldn't want to know because those decanter bottles back in that lead and all that. I was like, I wouldn't.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, just leave it as it is. But they was like, hey, you want to sell us back to us? I was like, no.
But that's like those stories of, people finding the bottles of booze at the bottom of the ocean. They open up, and there was, what was it, like the 150-year-old beer that they found like up near like the North Pole because some Viking ship like sank, and they opened the beer.
It's more than 150 years if it was a Viking.
Well, it was 150, whatever it was. I mean, whoever went up there.
I knew what you meant, but
whatever.
the old 150-year-old.
Whatever. It was an ocean, like the ship basically sunk in like the North Pole, and there's a video on YouTube. I think the guy had the bottles and had them at a dinner, like cracked them open at a dinner, and it was like a thick barley wine that came out, but it was like, but he was like, it's amazing. It tastes delicious, and I was like, how in the hell?
Oh man, that sounds like something amazing to try.
But just think of it like, you know, it's fresh when it's there.
Yeah.
It sinks straight to the bottom, and
Well, stay chilled all this time.
yeah,
It was preserved.
yeah.
I mean,
so
and not a lot of
and there's
oxygen's
alcohol,
getting
and
to
so
either.
it probably didn't freeze
Yeah.
because of the alcohol in it.
And again, there's no oxygen getting into it because it's. I mean, how much oxygen is in water?
Well, especially at the bottom of the ocean.
H2O. There's only one O in those two hydrogens, so not a lot.
So true.
Science.
That's hilarious. Yeah, so you, a couple years ago, 2 years ago, you said you morphed into the Afro Beer Chick.
Yes.
You started a blog. So talk about your blog. Like, what primarily do you focus on the blog? Is it more like the events that you go to, or just cool things in beer, or is it a combination of everything?
It's a combination of everything, you know, like, I'm hard-headed about sitting down and writing on stories. Like, I have like 4 stories I have to write up, and I have not yet done it. That's the side that I have to tune into. Like, I'm not much of a journalist or a writer like that, but I have to force myself to. Just, you know, the things that's going on in the beer industry, the events that I've gone to, just kind of trying to highlight everything, you know, and especially like my last story that I put up was Fresh Fest. Oh my God, that was so much fun.
What was that?
That was in Pittsburgh.
What did it entail?
Okay. Okay, so Fresh Fest.
I'm assuming fresh hops.
No.
Oh.
Fresh Fest is the beer fest that is started out by 3 guys: Mike Potter from Crown and Hops, Dave Bracey, and Ed. They came up with this idea to showcase African American owned breweries.
Oh, yeah.
So I remember 2 years ago when I started ABC, it was only 6, and I was looking for them. It was only 6. Now it's like we're up to 50. And don't get me wrong, it's not just African American owned breweries that was there. You know, you had some of everybody, and you felt the love and the positivity. It was so much fun. I cannot wait for next year.
That sounds awesome. Also, I love Pittsburgh. I'm just gonna throw that out there
Oh my
as
God,
well.
Pittsburgh is so beautiful.
Pittsburgh's great. I've only been there once, and it was for like 1 week, and I fell in love with it.
It is so beautiful.
Why were you in Pittsburgh for a week?
This is a long time ago. Okay, man. Again, my wife doesn't listen to the podcast. We don't have to get into.
You could have just cut it
she
off
did,
at
right?
that.
That's a long time ago. We're gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. But man, yeah, that does sound fun, and that's so cool that where it started from, and like you're saying, it's now turned into something more, and obviously a little more diverse, which is super.
Yeah.
Did you go to the... Why can't I never remember their name? But the damn brewery that looks like a church out there. No, that looks like a church.
Church Brew?
Yeah, Church Brew.
Okay, so, yes.
Well, because every time I think of that, I think of Church Street.
Church
I'm like,
Street,
oh,
yeah.
it's
I know.
not it.
Yes,
And it doesn't look like a church. It is in a church.
No, I would.
I actually, you know, I call it that as
And
well.
it's amazing. I love that place.
Oh my God, yes, the space is so dope. It's inside the church. When you walk into it and you see the sanctuary, you have the bar and all that on the left hand side, and then it's like old pews, and then straight ahead is where you see where they're brewing at. And the church is huge. It's like you can really hide
it's
their
like no
bodies in there.
joke.
Not
If I was
find
in
anybody.
a craft beer back then, because this was probably like 2006 when I was there, or
Yeah.
2005.
It wasn't there then. I know that.
Yeah. I one of the memory. I like 2 distinct memories from that trip. One was eating some type of sandwich that had coleslaw and French fries on it. The other is drinking a 40 of Old English and puking in front of this person's house who I was at. So those are my 2 memories.
Lovely.
And you would think that wouldn't be like, oh man, I loved Pittsburgh so much that those are my 2 memories. I just remember having a great time and it looking amazing there.
Oh yeah, it's and no matter what part of the expressway you hit, you're gonna get like scenic views because things are up in the mountains. Oh my God, we had a blast. And then what I really loved about it, so on IG, you know, you follow people, but you don't know these people in real life.
Right.
And somebody was like, "Hey, anybody want to share Airbnb?" And it was like 8 of us. Didn't know each other before then, and we all did. And we came together. It was a blast.
Scandalous.
I can imagine that being a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. And then we had like a kick-ass bottle share.
That's funny because that's the first thing I thought. I was like, if you guys are all following each other on Instagram, and it's like that's what's coming. Oh, yeah.
Yes. I was trying to find my pictures.
I think once we started talking and I was talking about the sandwich in Old English and you guys were on your phone, I'm like, they're looking for a picture. God damn.
Yeah, I was looking for a picture.
But that's the first thing that popped into my head was that getting together with all those people. Oh my god, that looks so cool.
Yeah.
Except for the Steelers flag. No, that sounds awesome.
Picture.
But that was the first thing that came to my head, like getting together with all the people. I mean, most people follow people on Instagram based on the stuff that you like. Mm-hmm. Most of my stuff is cooking and cartoons and beer, obviously. So coming together on Instagram to share an Airbnb, a bottle share would be the first thing that's in my head. Well, we're all together. What are you bringing?
But here's the thing: it was so funny because our bottle share was such last minute.
Oh, really?
And then one of the housemates just kind of put out there, say, hey, y'all, we having this bottle share at our place. Come through. Because, Fresh Fest had their own bottle share that night.
Oh, cool.
And people who threw theirs, they came through after. It's like the house was just packed. We had all this beer.
Oh, my God.
It was just crazy. People were coming in with coolers of beer. Oh, it was so much fun.
All right, so when is it next year?
Usually the second weekend in August, and I'll be right there.
That sounds awesome. I'm trying to travel so much for beer. There's so many things I want to go and do.
Yeah. Well, so part of what we're doing with this podcast is next month we're going to be adding a video element.
Ooh,
Nice.
awesome.
I like the way you segued into that.
I know.
Thank you.
So I think what we want to. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a test event or a test podcast in November. It'll be like our first one using video. We're going to set it up somewhere down here. We're going to have a special guest. We know who it's going to be. We're going to wait.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm really excited. And by the way, you're more than welcome to come on back to the show already.
Whenever you want me, let me know.
That sounds good, especially now.
We got video, then we'll provide hair and makeup. All that.
I'm doing the hair and makeup though. So.
Well, luckily I am also a freelance makeup artist, so I got that part covered.
Well, you can do mine then.
Okay, well, I can do yours.
Yeah.
I'll probably shave by then. So,
Yeah, so we're gonna be adding a video element. So I think the idea is we're gonna start. We're gonna kind of run this into a YouTube channel, and we're gonna have just an audio version available, and then like a video version,
and hopefully be able to go to events and hopefully try and plan some stuff too, where we could a bottle share would be fun and things like that.
Yeah, we kind of like the way we've been doing the podcast. Even when we do, we're planning to do like a night where we take a bunch of old Bourbon County and we do French press and stuff like that. But doing that kind of stuff on video would be kind of neat.
Yeah.
So
people can see what it is.
It's awesome because Tony, his brother-in-law and his wife, they're running basically a production
My brother-in-law's
company.
wife, which is my sister, not my wife.
Yeah, his brother-in-law. I met his brother-in-law's wife, which is.
I just like clarifying things like that. Sorry.
So they're out. Where do they live?
They're out in Atlanta.
Yeah, they're out in Atlanta, and they're running a production company out there. So they kind of approached Tony when he was out there and said, "Hey, let's kind of take this to the next level and see what we can do for you guys." So we're gonna try it out, see what happens, and grow from there. So
hopefully,
but it'll be cool to add a video component.
Yeah, they're coming up in November. We're gonna test it out and see what happens, and more good things to come.
Awesome.
So that being said, you're on a venture to start a podcast as you throw a peanut in your mouth.
Yes, he caught me.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm going to say, because I saw the logo, and that logo's pretty cool. I really like that. That looks good. I'm letting you finish that peanut as well as I go into mine.
I'm done. Okay, yes, I am basically the same component. I want to do more of a video so I can put it on my website as well. Because I do a lot of crazy things. And my version is, so you guys ever watched that show Drunk History?
Yes, I love that
Hilarious.
show.
So I want that to kind of be my platform where I'm drunk talking about beer.
I like that a lot. If you ever need any guests,
Yes.
we're happy to sign up for
We're
that.
happy to get drunk and talk about beer.
I mean, 'cause that's kind of what we do here. Not me, man, but
Right. So people are constantly asking me, "Hey, do you have a podcast?" I'm like, "No, I don't, and I really should because I have this big mouth to use. Why not?"
that's awesome.
Yeah, the funny thing about like the whole starting of a podcast is more intimidating than actually doing it, because we had talked about it for a long time, and it's more sitting down and doing it versus like, oh my god, where do we go? Like, I mean, we signed up with we have SoundCloud and started with that. That's where we're hosting, and then we push it out everywhere.
Moving that soon, hopefully.
Yeah, but we push it out everywhere. So like it goes to iTunes, Spotify. Google Play, so and that's like the simple part of it. I was like, that's so awesome, but like, yeah, I think it's more intimidating when you're thinking about starting versus actually starting. So I'm excited to have you kind of get up and running too, because especially if you're doing with that drunk beer history. That sounds hilarious.
I mean, I was kind of doing like a drunk Twitter live the other day.
I saw actually. So I saw your tweet about that. So just so I forgot what it said. Something like, as you guys know, I was kind of buzzed on that last beer review, and then I pulled it up this morning because we were tweeting back and forth, and I saw that. I was like, that's hilarious. But then I also saw the Hot Butcher beer that you got.
Oh, man.
You know what I said out loud? I go, how do we get beer mail?
That was so amazing.
It was, what, 6 different beers in there?
6. First of all, thank you, Hot Butcher.
Yeah, Hot Butcher. We like beer mail, too. Just throwing that out there. Love you guys.
I mean, they had reached out and said, hey, so Jeremiah from Hot Butcher said, hey, we want to send you something. What's your address? And I'm like, oh, okay, well, here's my address.
That's creepy. Well, here's my address.
Okay. I mean, it's my brewery. Like, hey.
Yeah. Never say no when a brewery wants your address.
I wouldn't.
So when he came home the other day, my daughter was like, what did you order now? I'm like, I didn't order anything. I'm innocent. I haven't ordered anything. She said, well, you have this package and it's heavy. I said, oh, bring it upstairs.
Good part about having kids around still.
Right. So he brought it upstairs, and I figured it had to be beer because I'm looking at the hop house box. You know, I'm like,
yeah.
But I didn't know who it was from at that point, so I cut it open. I was like, oh crap! My eyes lit up like a kid at Christmas. Like, oh crap! This is a beer, and I'm picking it up. It's like different kinds. Like, yes, thank you.
That's such a cool beer box to receive.
Oh, it is.
Christmas.
Throw it out there. I've yet to. This is not for us to get beer in the mail, but it also is. But I have yet to have a Hot Butcher beer that I don't like.
Exactly. You know what I love about Hot Butcher, and I like I said the other day on the video, I'm not saying this because they sent me the beer. I was saying this long before, but we know IPAs are their thing.
Oh yeah.
And no matter what IPA you get from them, it's always a different flavor profile.
100%. It is. I'm so impressed with it.
Yes. Well, we have another brewery here. I'm not gonna throw them under the bus just yet.
Just yet.
She's waiting for the drunken podcast.
I was gonna say, save that for your podcast. Yeah. And we'll be on it if you want. We'll be like, yeah, fuck those guys. No.
Where it seems like they're doing the same thing as Hot Butcher, but all their damn beer tastes the same.
You know what? Off mic.
Different can.
I'd like to know who that is.
You probably already know.
Oh, okay. But yeah, Hot Butcher. It's funny because
I almost feel like I know the answer already.
The first couple of times, I remember actually Clark, who's been on the show for the New England IPA, he's a big Hot Butcher fan, and he's the one who actually got me into Hot Butcher because he was always checking in these beers because he's one of the few people that I actually follow on Untappd to find out what they're drinking, and I was always like, oh man, he's always going for these beers, and every time I'd grab a Hot Butcher beer, I'm like, here's all these different hops. That sounds like a good combo, and I'd buy it. And every time, I almost bought one today, which it's funny because I was going to put it on for the show today, but you already got it in beer mail because I saw it in the video. And I was like, I mean, I don't know if you've tried it yet, but yeah, they're killing it, man.
People are hitting me up like, how did you get this? Because I know brewers who can't even get this type of hookup. Like, look, I don't know. I'm just thankful. And I'm going to drink the beer. But the hazy...
ABC.
the apply hazy try again. Man, that one was...
Which one? I'm sorry?
The one that was drunk on Twitter.
The
hazy try again. Yeah. That was so good.
The one that was drunk and made her drunk on Twitter the other day.
Yeah.
Buzz for the beer review. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Hey, Brant, where are we at on time right now?
33 minutes.
You know what? Let's take a break real quick. Take a short break. I have a feeling this episode's definitely going to go over an hour. But let's take a break and we'll come back. We'll crack open another beer and get back to talking here.
explain constituents, amazing how it's making sense. Ooh, rhyme go the rhyme, watch the rhyme go round. Rhyme by the code, and by the code I'm bound. Nevertheless, I love it just the same. Forever the test, try and figure out the game. Life has got its ups and downs, shoots and ladders and faceless clowns. Look back and forth, both sides of the street. Mark it one time only, or must repeat. Yo, my shoes coming twos, and they want from paying dues. Running back and forth from good to bad news. I really wish I was handy with the aerosol, so I could piece my daughter up a Mary Poppins carousel. Live by the pen, survive by my seed. The voice said go, and then it said Godspeed. So what you need, and how long can you wait? It's hard to live week to week and still plan for the day. And you're always weighed down by a high APR, and your rhymes ain't as fly as you hope they are. Nevertheless, I love it just the same. Forever the test, try and figure out the game. Life has got its ups and downs, shoots and ladders and faceless clowns. Look back and forth, both sides of the street. Mark it one time only, or must repeat. Yo, my shoes coming twos, and they want from paying dues. Running back and forth from good to bad news. Scramble up the eggs and ham, 3.5 the same price as a gram. Now I mean, you know it's good to go. Now I mean, so come and check me out at the show. You can see how I act and do what I do, and then tell your friends that me and you's crew. You might have seen me showing off, and I'm sorry for that. She got a sparkle in her eye, and she's sorry for that. Nevertheless, I love it just the same. Forever the test, try and figure out the game. Life has got its ups and downs, shoots and ladders and faceless clowns. Look back and forth, both sides of the street. Mark it one time only, or must repeat. Yo, my shoes coming twos, and they want from paying dues. Running back and forth from good to bad news. Nevertheless, I love it just the same. Forever the test, try and figure out the game. Life has got its ups and downs, shoots and ladders and faceless clowns. Look back and forth, both sides of the street. Mark it one time only, or must repeat. Yo, my shoes coming twos, and they want from paying dues. Running back and forth from good to bad news.
And we're back.
Oh, Jesus.
We've been recording. You guys.
You're so sneaky with it.
Well, it's sneaky until I have to go back and edit it. And I'm like, what? You're playing so tight. By the way, no one has. By the way, all the people that you and I know, Brandon, and who are musicians, not a single person has reached out about music. I was trying to get more people for more music, so I don't know what just played. There might be something.
We'll find out.
It's probably Fluid Minds still, which thank you, Fluid Minds, for still letting us use your music. But I figure with all the people that we knew who are musicians, put your music on the podcast. We'll give you a shout out at the end.
Yeah.
That's free promotion.
Yeah, just write some jams.
You know what? That's right. I'm just going to start writing music myself for it. It's not going to be
we can be fully in house, dude. Tropical Budsleys. This was our like high school. This was our high school like band when we like sneak away and steal beer. We'd get drunk and like. And the name came about because
I was gonna say, you gotta tell
one
the
of our
story.
high school friends came over and he smoked, like, we didn't smoke weed, but he did. And he was smoking weed in my bedroom, like out my window and whatever. I'm just letting him do his thing. And he decided to literally like jump onto the bed and knocked over a can of Tropical Punch onto my bed, and I just screamed, I don't know why, I just screamed, Tropical Budsleys!
Or like, way to go, Tropical Budsleys!
Oh yeah, way to go, Tropical Budsleys! And he's like, we started laughing, and then we decided to like create a quote-unquote band.
Do we ever make any songs or anything?
We did rehearsals for a while, and then we were supposed to perform at like the Quigley thing, and then you guys didn't show up, and I got stuck with Stowe.
Oh, that's right. Well, I was not smoking weed at the time, so I can't blame it on that. I had to. We cracked open another beer. Which one did you choose? You choose the
Perennial, the Fantastic Voyage. It has toasted coconuts in it. So
well,
I'm ready.
not untoasted.
No, untoasted. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I'm not even buzzed yet.
Jumping on
Messing
you.
up.
It's not toasted. Yeah, I took a sip, and I've been eating peanuts this whole time. I said peanuts.
Yeah, I didn't clear my palate.
I had to clear my palate because I didn't get. I got stout and then peanut flavor, so I'm gonna go in for this now.
All right, let's try
It
to
could be a sound effect we can save. Her pouring the water.
It's a good one. I'll put it in the sound bag.
Editor's note.
It smells great though.
It smells great. It tastes good. And it is a faint coconut flavor I get.
Fake.
Faint. Faint coconut.
You get it on the back end.
Yeah. It's not like super
Overpowering.
strong and up front.
It's
but
faint, but
it's there.
that's how I would want it almost.
Sure.
I feel like the way the coconut tastes being untoasted would be overpowering
Yeah.
and would just ruin the rest of the beer.
It's kind of just the aftertaste now in my mouth, which I like.
Yeah.
I'm always expecting, when I see those adjuncts in beers, again, put Hubbard's Cave out there. We were just talking about that like with the, was it coffee and cakes and the French toast, like those you taste up front. But they're
Yeah.
also like super sweet. And I like, like I said, I like sharing those cans with like 4 people.
I think that's what I like about the Hubbard's Cave I was telling you about with
yeah.
their chocolate pot de creme, the chocolate strawberry pot de creme. Is not overpowering, but it's not super sweet either.
Yeah, that
it's
sounds-
so well balanced. Like I may have to stop and go get some before I go.
They
home.
have it at the Benny's over there in Portage
Man.
Park. So there was like that was like the largest, because I've seen the pot de creme before. Because don't they just have a regular pot de creme?
Yes, that was my first one by Hubbard's Cave. It was just a regular pot de creme, and then after that, they started coming with
All the
different
different-
variants. Yeah.
I saw one that was like it was like the maple or the pancake one, which I think also has like maple syrup. There was a maple syrup one, and that was the first time I saw. I mean, this Benny's over in Portage Park has all of them, like probably all the pot de cremes you can think. Plus, they had French toast and coffee and cakes, and the Hubbard's
That
Cave's
French toast
IPA.
one is amazing.
Oh, man, that coffee cakes one is my favorite.
So you remember the year that that Goose Island came out with the banana, like the banana prop?
Yes.
Does
Yes.
that remember? I think that was like
Yes.
2016, 2017.
2017.
Okay, so
I probably have one.
Man, that is my favorite puff.
okay, so Hubbard's Cave
Oh no.
did a banana Foster.
Oh yes, I saw that and I did not get
They
it.
did it in conjunction with Crafted 1979 out in Mokina.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell you, no shade, Goose, but
Yeah, Goose, we
let's
still
be
need you. Still need you.
100. That one
was-
tastes. Oh my god! It was a whole different. It was a whole different beast on draft.
Okay.
On draft, it tastes well balanced, but it's one of those beers. Honestly, in the can, it was really sweet, so you really have to let it sit.
Yeah.
But oh my god,
On draft, it was really
it
good.
was so good.
Yeah,
It's the only year I don't have is that 2017.
Did we
You
drink that?
slipping, Brandon?
Did we drink that recently? Was that one of the ones we drank?
Well, maybe, but I was out of town that year, so I know I didn't. That's when I was in
Oh,
Fiji.
yeah, that's right. You were not there. That's the one that Clark and I went to.
That's when you did Plop Day.
Plop Day, where someone from marketing. Quick backstory on that. My buddy Clark and I tried to win Prop Day tickets, did not win it. So we
in
said,
2017.
2017, we said, screw this, we're going to make our own thing called the Plop Day. And we were like, we're going to Sheffield's, because Sheffield's had a whole bunch of barrel-aged beers on tap. And then we went to...
But so
was it Dry Hop that we went to?
you can't forget the important part of the story is you made lanyards
Oh,
that
yeah.
looked exactly
It
like
looked
the Goose
Plop
Island
Day, yeah.
lanyards.
So we walked around with these. We also, in the company that I worked for at the time, that he had to fire me from. It's a throwback to the Bourbon County episode. We made this doorbell that we hit it, and it was a speaker, and it was me going, "You've been plopped," and then it was like the area horn, wah, 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 and so we'd hit that every now and then. So anyway, so we went to Dry Hop and had the Milk Stachio release, which I love that. But was it Dry Hop and who else does that? Don't remember. Anyways, we were gonna go someplace else, and we said let's go to Beguile because Beguile had just released Imperial Pajamas the day before. So we stopped in there, we walked in with our badges, and we're both pretty sarcastic. Like, plop day, big deal, walking through, showing the badges, and the server behind the counter, she was like, oh, what are those? I'm like, oh, it's our plop day badges. And she's like, what's that? I'm like, well, prop day is tomorrow. We didn't win tickets, so we're not going, we made our own thing. And some guy was like, oh, wait, what's that? And he was a customer as well. I was like, oh, it's Plop Day. We didn't win Prop Day tickets. He goes, that's hilarious. He's like, I work for Goose Island. And he's like, do you guys want to go tomorrow? And we were like, it's happening. This is what we talked about. Like, maybe this. So we ended up going. That was the funny part of the story, which was awesome. We did get to go. We got free tokens. Everything was so funny. Like, even security was like, your Plop Day guys are here. So we try to make it a thing every year. Last year, we just spent it at Revolution because we didn't win Prop Day tickets. And that was when they released all three of them the same Saturday, and just sat in the tap room and drank all the variants, which was the best plop day of my life. But anyways, that prop is my favorite, and it's nice to know that there is another beer out there that tastes like that, because the Bananas Foster, which I learned how to make last year also, thanks Jeff, that's just a great flavor, especially in the stout.
It was really good. Like I said, when you get it in the can, you're gonna have to let it sit because it's like crazy sweet. But when I had it on draft, it was well balanced. So it's like I was kind of weird when I was like, how does this work? But either way it goes, still a good beer.
It's funny how some beers work out like that.
I'd wonder though, like if they use any type. I mean, I wouldn't think a brewery would do this, but like canning sugars or something like that to like help with.
I mean, it was
that
crazy
process.
sweet. Like I cut it with bourbon.
Because I've had that.
Sweet.
I've had that before too, though. Like where you have a beer on draft versus in a can or bottle or whatever, and like the difference in sweetness is like astronomical. Like this is not the same beer almost because of the sweetness. But so I wonder if any place uses something, or if it's a different batch that gets put into the cans versus what gets put on draft.
That's a good question. I don't have that answer.
Neither do I. Maybe a brewer can answer that question.
Hey, brewers who don't listen to this podcast, let us know that answer. Are there different batches that go into cans that are untapped?
Well, I do know for a fact there are some breweries that their draft stuff is done like in-house, and anything that's canned is done like out of state. Like I know a lot of brewers that there's breweries in Wisconsin that they use as their contract brewers, and they just send all their stuff, their recipes up there.
Mouth the brewery to us.
Which gave me a whole appreciation for Rev. Yes, because they do everything there. Like everything.
So
that's a good segue too.
Good job. Now you brought that up. We did see that you were brewer for a day yesterday. Oh my God. How did that happen?
So a while ago, I had hit up. I put it out on Twitter. I said, "Hey, who's gonna let me be a brewer for the day?"
That's so smart.
That's all you gotta do.
God, we're doing this wrong.
Right. And John Carruthers from Rev, he was like, "Hey, send me a message." And then we were emailing back and forth, trying to get some dates together where we all can, get on the same page. And we finally were able to get on the same page. And I went yesterday. I ditched work.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Now I understand why you said 3-day weekend in the other tweet.
Yes, I was celebrating.
I was jealous. I was like, I'm still got another day.
So I got there about 9 o'clock yesterday morning, and I was there like a full day of work. Like from 9, I left there maybe after 6.
Oh wow!
And I tell you, like the information I received, it was just like, it was amazing because you got to see how everybody comes together. So. You got the marketing and the distribution. Like, it takes a lot to run but the largest independent craft breweries in Illinois. Like, when I got there, they were loading up pallets to go to, like, two of their 9 states that they distribute to.
Man.
9 states. I was like, man.
That's great. That's awesome for Rev. Man, that's so cool.
But, you see how, because they were packaging up Cafe Deep yesterday. Mm-hmm. So that was amazing to see.
What a great day to be the brewer for the day.
I know, right? Oh man.
Oops, I fell in a barrel.
And then like one of my favorite parts, like John, he did a great job in giving me like the full in-depth tour, and Glenn, and I got to meet Josh Death. Oh my God. It was so fun. Let me tell you about this. So I get there at maybe like 8:45, and I didn't know who Josh Death was. I had never seen him in person. Okay. Like, I know who he was, and I know him as the founder of Rev.
Right.
So he said, "Oh, you need to get in?" Okay, cool. And I didn't know at the time. So he's like, "Oh, are you here for John?" I was like, "Yeah, cool."
I just imagine her getting to the door like, "Do you know who I am? I'm a brewer for the day. Let me in." And he's like, "All right, cool. Come on."
No, this is totally cool. So John comes. I'm sitting at the bar, and John comes down. He's like, "Oh yeah, that was Josh. Josh, he let you in." I said, "Wait, the founder?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "What?"
He's also the door guy.
It was so cool, like so laid back. He's like, "Yeah." Sometimes people ask him like, "Well, hey, what do you do at Revolution?" He's like, "Oh, I just work here." Like he's just that down to earth. So it was really cool. And I think one of my favorite parts was talking to Marty Scott. Marty is like so knowledgeable about beer and the barrel program. Like I love. So Marty has a job where not only is he brewing his beer, but he gets to taste like 192 barrels in a day. You see all these barrels lined up.
That sounds awesome.
He gets to
Brandon shaking
taste
his head no, by the way.
192 barrels. I think he does it like maybe twice a year, where he has to taste 192 barrels for the flavor profile to see how they're going to blend those barrels together to make next year's.
Wait, he tastes beer. Does he like lick the barrel? Or?
No. So okay, so this is what I learned. This is my education, my beer education yesterday.
By the way, everybody, you're getting like the behind the scenes, like firsthand. Yeah. Someone who doesn't work at Red
exactly
had the experience. This is great.
There's no sugarcoating here.
We're
talking about dirty barrel licking right now.
God. So no, he has his barrels lined up, and you have to put on your gloves, and you have to be careful. It has you take the dung out, and you have to spray it. And then he takes this the stick, and he has to carefully put it in, so it doesn't touch the barrel, and bring it back out. And so we had like 3 cups, one with the pH balance, because he has to learn the pH balance, and then we had our tasting cups. Oh, and then you sip, you smell, and you sip, and you have to, the flavor profile, and then he has to write it down, so he knows what barrel he's going to blend for next year.
Huh. That's awesome.
Holy cow.
That's intense.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah, it's not just like, okay, so we barrel age this. Throw it all together, let's go.
That's like his day of being an accountant. Like that's tax day for him. It's like here we go.
So we did a few yesterday. He has to do more when he comes back from vacation, but it was just like
I would need a vacation after that too.
Yeah, so it was just amazing. Like, oh my gosh! And then like when you talking to he broke everything down for me. Like I loved everything about yesterday, and what I see, even though they brew so much beer, and you see this mass production. You can tell it's brewed with love. Like everybody has a hand in everything.
I think that also just comes from their beers and how they do things. Like I don't know, Revolution is kind of one of those breweries that I'm so happy and honored that.
Deep Woods.
Oh man, and that's like one of the last large format ones.
Oh my gosh, yes, because they
But yeah, I think it's great that
this was the first year of it too.
That it's I feel like we're so lucky to be in Chicago for many reasons, but that Revolution, I feel like Revolution kind of took the mantle.
Is there a picture of that?
Yeah.
The breweries here in Chicago that we should really be proud of.
Yes.
And that's cool. They clearly care about it, about all their beers, and they're always making good beers. Again, I was about to say there hasn't been a Revolution beer that I haven't liked, but I'm not a fan of brewed IPA, so the Brute Hero was not one of my favorites.
Man,
that's not a knock on Revolution. It's a knock on I don't like brewed IPAs.
Yeah,
it's not my jam.
And then God, Josh Noel, I'm gonna need you to hurry and put your story out because there's so much more I want to talk about, but I can't out of respect for you. It was great meeting you, but yeah.
Take a picture with this and then send the picture and say when's that story coming out. Just so you know. So, by the way, I just took another sip. I'm totally jumping all over the place. That sip I just took of that perennial, is it perennial we're doing, right?
Yeah.
That Fantastic Voyage, now it's like all coconut to me.
Yeah.
That's really, really good. I like it. I'm on board.
Oh, man.
Well, that sounded like a fun time. And the funniest part, because I didn't know, I didn't see the tweets until Rev had tweeted that you had just finished your shift and you grabbed a Pilsner.
Man, let me tell you. So after you tasting all those beers,
that's the first thing.
And it was so funny because John Carruthers was sitting at the bar with me, and He didn't say anything, and then when the bartender came, and he was like, "Yeah, what do you want?" I was like, "Please give me a pills." And John is like, his eyes bugged. He's like, "Yes!" Like, he was like, "There you go." I was like, "Yeah, after you have all those beers, you need to bring it. You need to bring it down."
What else did you get to try? Was there other like beers? Was it just the barrel stuff that you were trying that day?
I had they had one called Jumpy Juice, which is their hazy.
Okay.
That was one of their brewers beers. And then I love how so when you go into the brewery, they have employee brews where they allow their employees to kind of pitch their brewing ideas.
Oh, that's cool.
So there's this one guy.
This is the actual brewery over on
Kedzie,
right?
yes. So there one guy named Kyle. He had this beer with coconut.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know I don't think there was a name for it at the moment.
I'm a fan of the coconuts.
But it was really good. Kyle, your beer was really good. I didn't get a chance to tell you that.
Shout
it
out,
was really
Kyle.
good. Shout outs, Kyle.
What kind of beer was it?
It was a stout.
Stout with coconut?
Yes.
Man,
Yeah,
that's
it was
such a
really
great
good.
combination. I love coconut stouts.
Yeah. I got to try some other beers.
It's okay. You can't. You can't.
Yeah,
say
can't.
it.
Not
That's fine.
until Tuesday.
Guys, my fly has been down this whole time since after the break. Nobody told me.
We weren't looking.
Yeah, well, thanks for letting everyone know, and nobody cared.
I care. My face is turning beet red.
Nobody cares. Life doesn't care.
I'm just trying to segue to other ways in the conversation. No.
So
That's awesome that you got to do that.
So now I'm just
Thanks for
based
sharing with us.
on the conversation and kind of how. So I brought out. I think this is one of the first. This is the first Death Star.
So is there?
It's 2013. It was bottled
What's on the
September
bottle?
16th, 2013. It's literally on the side of the bottle in the logo. It's in the logo on the right hand side.
Got it. Right hand side. Right hand side. Oh, I see it.
Yep, September 16, 2013.
Wow. You know what?
Jeez, that's.
I have so much respect for people who can cellar their beers. I'm not that person because I want to drink mine as soon as I get it.
No, see,
Go ahead.
that's my problem. Is I buy a lot of them and then I put one in there and then I forget about it.
The longest I've cellared a beer, I think, is a year. Personally.
The longest I think I've cellared a beer is maybe 2 weeks.
Nice.
That's about it.
I have a hard time when it comes to the Bourbon County stuff because I want to drink it when it's fresh.
Yeah.
But I have been bitten in the butt.
And I
by
still
some
have a 2012.
by some of those like berry ones, by the fruited ones. Those I've learned every year with Bourbon County, and actually Death by Currents. I thought the same thing. Those got better after they sat for a little while.
But see, this is what I learned yesterday.
My preference. My preference.
The part that we don't talk about when it comes to the beers is the science.
Mm-hmm.
So shouts out to Kristen, their biologist, their chemist. She broke so much down for me. She said we intentionally put on our boxes to let you know you need to drink this beer now because this is when it's most pivotal, the most enjoyment.
Just say drink this beer now because we did not drink this beer now.
Probably these beers can be enjoyed immediately or cellared for months or years to savor when the time
Oh.
is right. Nice way to put it. But yeah, I've come to be in the camp of drinking fresh.
Yeah.
Founders always said that about KBS. People age KBS. We did a whole thing the first time I met Ron. We drank a whole. So you're making a face right now, but we did a whole. How many years did we do of KBS? Don't
lot.
why turn your back on me. What I'm trying
It's
to
like
talk about?
7 or 8
It's like
years.
You talk about KBS. You talk about founders.
7 of okay. I know where we all stand on it. Well, where most people stand on it now. But even before acquisitions and things like that, KBS always tasted better fresh. It just did. It just tasted better fresh because certain flavors will fade. What I will say about Death by Current from Revolution is that when I had it last year, when we did our plop day, because I tried all of them except for fucking cherry Eugene Porter, which I didn't get a chance to try, which I wish I would have. I did not like Death by Currents when I first had it. Go about 4 or 5 months later, someone cracked open a can by Death by Currents, and the tartness of the currant had subdued a little bit perfectly for my palate from what I was looking for, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I bet a Death by Current right now would be awesome. So I see that Death by Plum is coming out this year. I don't know if you can say anything about that. Did you get a chance to try it? If you can't say, okay, you can't say anything, that's fine. That is something that I am trying. I'm looking forward to trying.
Yeah.
And I know like that's like Death by Currents is gonna be. It's probably like the $35
Yeah.
4-pack.
But can you say
Death by Plums?
You give it seal of approval? Yeah.
She can't say anything.
I can't
Don't
say
know if-
anything
don't know
out
if
of
she tried
respect
it,
for
don't know if
Josh.
she
No.
liked it, so that's fine.
Well, out of respect for Josh, I'm no longer letting the host choose. This will probably be our last one too.
You are the host.
You are the host.
Or sorry, our guest choose.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull the desk.
There's plenty left on the table if we're gonna open up that Death Star.
So I'm gonna pull the Death Star just because it's been part of the conversation, and this, like I said, it's September 16th, 2013. I believe this is the first year that they did Death Star.
Wow.
6 years aged. I can't wait to see what that tastes like.
Are you gonna open it up?
He's about
Yep.
to.
Oh wow! Wait a minute, hold on.
This
is a historic moment here.
Let's throw that in there as well.
Yes, let's get this. Oh yes, I'm loving it. Oh yes, that's gonna be on my Twitter later on.
Yeah, we do have to get. I want a picture of three of us for Twitter.
So, which is always an amazing sign when you open up a beer. I see there's a couple bubbles in the inner cap, but nothing on the outer cap.
Good.
So,
is it like big bubbles or just little tiny ones?
just little tiny.
Little tiny ones. That's a good sign.
A little braille.
That's a real good. You know, I'm follow your lead on that. That's a smart move. We're pouring water to cleanse the palate. There's been a lot of peanuts. Oh, thank you very much. A lot of peanuts and a lot of other beers. You guys heard the two other beers. There wasn't a lot of other beers.
Most definitely, come on.
You're pouring water for all of us. This is so nice. Thank you.
Gonna have guests
Nobody
on tomorrow.
nobody pours water for us. Brandon brings the water out.
Hilarious.
Brandon brings water out when it's just the two of us, and then maybe one of us takes a glass around. Like,
Because I keep waiting for Tony to pour it for me, and he never does.
never. Just give me all the beers.
But I got my new Glarus restaurant water glass.
Is this a sports team?
Oh yeah, Mizzou. Oh yeah, tell that to Becca. She will disown you.
Sorry, Becca. Becca doesn't listen to the show, does she?
Nope.
Yay!
Yay, wives not participating in our
No.
craft.
All right.
You know, I don't have a choice but to listen to Nick's podcast.
Nick's got a podcast.
You know, Chicago Beer Pass. So, you know, like when you get up in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
So he would get up in the morning after Brad posts it, have to hear it then. But then I get to work and I'm sitting in the, the help desk room.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, hey, Shalonda, guess what's on? You're a husband. Like, oh my God. So I have to listen to it again? Like, I already heard it.
It's funny. I used to listen to all the episodes once they were not all the episodes, but like the first couple episodes when we were done. But after editing them, once it's done, I'm like, I'm never listening to this again. And I don't have to hear it. And I don't know if Brandon, do you listen to the episodes when we're done?
I'll listen to I'll go through half of it
before
I'm like, all right.
That's about it. Wow, these are big, heavy pours. I appreciate that. Yay, Saturday!
Saturday, yes.
Saturdays are the best.
I'm glad I did all my adult thing before I came.
I think my wife will understand if I'm limited on my cleaning. I am doing all the cooking tomorrow. This is my plea to my wife. This is the plea
But she
to my
doesn't
wife.
listen to the show.
And it's not getting posted till Monday.
It's not getting posted to Monday, so you're gonna
So if she gets to, so if we get into an argument, I'll be like, yo, listen, around minute 40, 45, what I had said about cooking for the entire brunch.
Well, it's good to know that brunch at Tony's house is going to be ruined. I'll still be there. Don't worry. We're coming.
This is the worst day ever.
That is so funny. Well, happy birthday to your daughter.
Thank you. 19. She made it. I made it.
So we are. All right. Well, let's get into this.
Well, here. Cheers to you guys. Also, I know we're not wrapping up the episode right now.
Cheers.
Cheers. And Brandon, thanks for bringing this guy out.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's exciting. It smells fresh. I'm gonna say that I haven't tasted it yet, but man, that smells like a barrel-aged stout, like the freshest you could get from Revelation.
So it's just funny. So I found this floating at the top. Mm-hmm. It's literally a piece of wood.
Oh wow.
Like it's a stave, like a shaving from a burnt shaving from a barrel.
Dude,
I'm okay with that.
if this was
Send it back.
If this was super cold, and you put this in front of me at Revolution, I couldn't tell you that it was aged.
Yeah.
You might be able to
Because you were a brewer for a
I was a brewer for the day. Oh my gosh.
Can you taste a difference?
You can actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's now since yesterday I have more of an appreciation and it really wants me. I really want to dive in more into the brewing side. Not that I'm going to actually turn into a brewer or anything, but I want to know more about it.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I noticed because Marty broke down the different type of yeast and all that. So it was like, oh my God, so, if
everything
this
that lends
flavor
itself to the
profile,
flavor,
yeah. Some barrels are aged sweet. Mm-hmm. Some are aged dry, which I didn't know.
That makes sense.
So when you put them together, it gives them this well-balanced flavor.
Shit.
We should have brought her some of our Soul Survivor.
Oh, yeah. We have our own barrel-aged stout. We've got like 10 gallons of it left at my house. Just sitting in kegs, ready to go.
Yeah, so we did...
So when you going to taste it?
Next time we get together. You're more
So
than
we
welcome to
did
come by.
last year.
We'll come to you.
Last January we brewed 15 gallons of a stout just to be safe, but we had a 10-gallon bourbon.
No, it was 15 gallons. Yeah,
oh, yeah.
15
No,
gallons. We did
brewed
20 gallons, yeah.
Excuse me.
Math is hard.
Yeah. I'm using Common Core, so it's just screwing with my head.
Oh man, do not mention Common Core. That's a headache.
So we had a 15-gallon barrel a bourbon barrel that we got that we aged it from January till about September of last year.
Ooh.
We pulled 5 gallons off, and then we brewed another 5 gallons of stout and replaced it.
Mm-hmm.
We took that to the Great Lakes Brew Fest up in Kenosha or Racine, Wisconsin, and we somehow won Brewer's Choice.
Oh, wow.
Or no, we won People's Choice for brewery, for beer, for that style, and then our couple other beers that we brewed like Tom Brady's Tears, which was our New England IPA because fuck Tom Brady. And then we also had Toast, which was our stout, or I think it was a stout. Yeah, stout with Cinnamon Toast Crunch that we put into there, with also some cinnamon sticks. But so that barrel turned out awesome, and we took more of it down to in June. We took another 5 gallons down to Mount Vernon because we actually emptied out the barrel. So we've got 10 gallons left that are sitting in kegs, just basically waiting for us to figure out what to do with them at this point.
Well, 1 5-gallon... Man, that was a good transition. Nobody knew I went to the bathroom until I just told them. 5 gallons is going to be bottled off just as regular as what we were going to do. The other 5 gallons, we were talking about adding... we're talking about chocolate and vanilla, but the chocolate's going to be tough unless we just do a cocoa nib tincture. But the vanilla beans, we could either put in there or whatever, but we want to just kind of amp it up a little bit. It tastes good. There were some worries about it when we first pulled we pulled the 15 gallons off. There was almost like this nail polishy flavor, which sucked, but because we were pulling samples just out of the nail, and we had
we pulled consistently.
Eric from
Goose Island,
who worked in the barrel house. He was here. He tried it. We talked about it. We liked it. Everybody agreed it was good, and then we kegged it. And there's just I think it's from the oxygen from the actual barrel itself. So I just tried some recently because nobody else can pick it out who isn't in the brew club. So far, who we have given it to, they've been like, oh, it tastes like this. Someone said it reminded them of port wine, which was weird because I was like, oh, so you taste fruit, huh? Fruit in a bad way? But
fruit could be a good thing too. So.
But yeah, so we have that. So next time we get together with you, we'll make sure to have some.
Okay.
So I'm actually glad we opened this because this is awesome.
This is really good.
So how
I kind of wish we had one of these from last year to go with.
Yeah.
It. I almost bought a can of Straight Jacket for today because you were at Rev yesterday. I was like, ooh, Straight Jacket.
Did you?
So that's different barrel too.
Oh. Did you have Death Star yesterday? So just not saying how. I mean, again, it's a beer. You can't really say how whatever, but. Comparatively, as much as your mind can put the flavors together, how does this compare? As being like, if somebody put this down in front of you and said this is this year's, or it's current, does it seem like it's aged? Does it seem like it's fresh?
Honestly,
is there a fall off anywhere?
You can taste the difference in the profile as far as the flavors, what they're going for this year. But I wouldn't be able to tell that this was 2013 because or if
it was 2 years ago.
Right. It's really, you can tell it's consistency there, but you can also tell how they amped it up this year as well. Okay. So
as a note, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
This tastes phenomenal.
This is great.
The aroma on it just alone, because some there'll be some of those beers, barrel aged beers, you open up and it's like, did I just open up a can of aluminum? Like that very tinny, oxidized smell. Yeah. This doesn't have it at all. This just tastes like a delicious barrel-aged beer. If this was any other brewery that wasn't aged, I'd be like, man, they made a kick-ass Barrel-aged beer.
And can I just make a call out to somebody that's never been on the podcast? Yankee Candle Company. Can you make a barrel-aged beer candle? Because you've got a whole bunch of nerds out there that would be all over that.
They have a bourbon candle.
Yeah, but bourbon barrel-aged beer.
Man, we're really...
Although bourbon
We're
candles...
reaching for sponsors. Well, we're trying to get a new budget for our video camera that's coming soon.
Yeah. On our next podcast, Dr. Scholl's.
Mattresses by Lisa. If you guys listen to any other podcast, you'd get it.
Yeah, this surprised me. Like, I was kind of worried, but...
Good call.
I mean, it's never been... I bought it, never been refrigerated. Like, I soured it at the condo. We moved here. It's been sitting down there. And that room stays consistently about, like, 60-some degrees, so...
Now, that is what I also learned yesterday with Kristen. Shouts out Kristen.
What's up, Kristen?
She told me how, like, the temperatures plays a big difference when you go to cellar beer. So, like, depending on how hot it is, like, 3 days of 90-degree weather of your beer sitting there is like 365 days compared to the temperature. So it's like, I really learned the breakdown.
Yeah.
So if you haven't refrigerated, it hasn't been in and out of the refrigeration, and it's been consistent. So it was like, this is probably why it still tastes so fresh.
Yeah.
Brandon, you're that little back room he's got back there. That nobody can see what I'm pointing to.
Yes.
Yeah. Wait till we empty the cellars. It does stay really cool. And when you were in the condo, this was in storage down in the basement, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So all of your beers have always stayed cold. So that was the one thing that I was always worried about for the beers that I was holding on to, because I was in a condo, but our basement was cool until it got super hot because there was no AC going down there, because you had to have your own AC units or AC. Thank you. Units in your unit. So I never had a want to age the stuff, because I knew I wasn't going to be able to do it correctly with a right temperature. With that being said, now my basement still stays relatively cool, and I probably could. But again, I've just become a part of the camp of, the longest I think I've let a beer age recently is 6 months. And that was because I was like, I want to wait to share this with somebody or drink this with somebody. It wasn't like, oh, I'm letting these flavors develop. Because I'm pretty sure I'll probably hold on to one of the bottles of Prop this year. Thank you, Brandon. For the summer. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, because when we were doing these French presses, the banana one was the one I did the most. Banana and cinnamon, the 2017 Prop. You take some, and Clark showed me this. He's like, you take some like very overripe bananas, like about half of it, a little bit of cinnamon, pour the Bourbon County over it, let it sit, pour that in your cup. That's exactly what it tastes like. So I think I'm gonna save Prop for the summer, because I just want to drink Prop during the summer.
I'm gonna have to hide my Prop in my daughter's room and forget about it. That's the only way I'm gonna be able to
Tell her to hide it though.
Like, look, hide it from me.
She's not there. The dogs are.
Oh right.
No, the other my daughter lives with me. I mean, because I go into the dog's room often, so if I go into, I don't really go in my youngest daughter's room. So,
No.
But yeah, I have to
Stay away.
Like, I hide it.
Stay away.
You don't go in there, or she doesn't let you in there?
I don't go. No, there's no better letter. Hold on.
I'm gonna go in there anyway. Yeah.
I don't want to go in there. That's the thing.
I was like when Mackenzie was living at the house. Every time I walk up there, I'd be like, "What is going on in here?" It was always gross. There's clothes and shit everywhere. That's what I meant. It wasn't like weird satanic
Like,
rituals.
close
right
the door. Don't even want to see it.
Never want to.
Throwing off my feng shui of my clean house.
Throwing everything off. Oh, well, this was a good. Did you have more to talk about? Actually, I know there is a lot more probably to talk about. Correct. Where are we at on time? Because I'm not trying to cut the show early, but I'm just curious.
An hour and 10 minutes.
This would be. You know what? We need more women on the show. You know why? Because this is probably the second longest episode, and our first was with Stephanie from Fanny's, and that was about an hour and 5 minutes long. Yeah. And now you're here, and now we're at an hour and 10. You're breaking that record.
Hey, there we go. So you guys going to the Beer Culture Summit?
I'm shaking my head no.
Okay.
What is that?
That is October 24th through the 27th, and that's at like the Field Museum.
How does one obtain entrance into that?
You get a ticket.
To get a ticket on their website, shopbrewmuseum.com.
See, that's what I was trying to get to, Brandon.
Okay, well, are you guys at least coming? I'm about to call you guys out.
To Fobab?
I'm going to Fobab.
I can't justify spending $85 on a beer.
Let me say. Okay.
I've been banned from volunteering at Fobab. So
was I.
What have you? Why?
I forgot to reply to an email and I got banned.
So years ago, with there was an old director. I was volunteering at the Wells Park Craft Beer Fest, and I was in the VIP area, which is great, and they had 10 volunteers maybe in the VIP area, and I wasn't doing anything. All these other volunteers, there was 4 taps and 10 volunteers in this small area. So I had gone up, and there was a supervisor there. I said, "Hey, is it cool if I leave?" She's like, "Yeah, it's fine. Go ahead." I asked somebody else there. I'm like, "Hey, is it cool if I leave?" I'm like, "There's 10 people here. I'm not really doing any good." And I said, "I'm fine to leave." And they're like, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." I go to check out, and they were like, "You're leaving early." And I was like, "Yeah," but I talked to the director at the time. I said, I talked to him, told him, he said, it's cool. He's like, no. And I was like, all right, whatever. I said, I'm leaving. And then I messaged the director, right after I left. I was like, hey, man, just so you know, he giving me a hard time, telling me I can't volunteer anymore or whatever. He's like, nah, don't worry, I'll take care of it. He left a week later. And my email address is on, the banned list. I don't get anything anymore. I'm like, are you serious?
I volunteered last year for the first time, my first FOBAB. And no shades of FOBAB, but I probably won't volunteer again because I was so damn tired. I volunteered the first session of the Saturday session, and I think what it was is that I was pouring 2 of the biggest beers. So you had more right next to me, which the line was long. But then I was pouring Half Acres Double Dose Benthic.
Oh.
And Claire's Thirsty Ale. So people are coming up to me. I'm double fisting it.
That's just awesome regardless. You don't even get a chance to sit there and be like, try it.
Yeah, no, it's the line is long. And luckily I had other volunteers that were filling up the pitcher so I can just double fist it. And then by the time it was done and over, we had to break it down for the next session. I was so tired. And I told Nick, I was like, look, we don't have to stay. I'm okay. Because the thing about it is, as we're bringing the beers out, they say, hey, look, you can taste the beers, just don't get drunk. I don't know how that happened. Yeah. I was playing it off very well.
They all get drunk.
Yeah. So, I was like, I have already had everything that was there. So, I was like, okay, I'm good. So, I was like, look, let's go get some ramen and go home.
Nice. Yeah, I was sent the email and I didn't respond, or I did respond at some point, but I don't know what happened, but I did get an email that said you didn't show up, and I was like, wait, what? You can no longer do it, you're banned. And I was like, cool. Whatever, that's no knock.
Change your email address.
That's awesome that you're going. I would love to go. You and I went together, Brandon, one year. We ended up going. What was the sandwich place that was over there at UIC?
It was Jerry's.
Jerry's?
No, yeah, Lucky's. Yeah, we went to Lucky's.
Oh man, sandwiches and wings. 2 rounds of wings.
Lucky's isn't there anymore.
Yeah, I know. It was so good. But yeah, FOBAB is good. Let's back it up to where this started. Where you said, "Are we going to
the I Am Craft Beer meetup on Wednesday?" I'll call her. Yeah,
this Wednesday.
Yes, this Wednesday. It's from 7 p.m. At 7 p.m.
Yo, shout out Jesse. Are you gonna be there?
Shout out Liz Garibay.
Gotta meet up.
Liz Garibay from the Shop Brew Museum, Black and Brew Chicago, and I were hosting this I Am Craft Beer meetup at off-call Mousetrap at 7 p.m. this Wednesday.
So here's important thing what I wanted to talk about and we didn't get into.
We have to go. Whatever. So I'm just saying, Brandon, we have to go to this now that you just.
Well, yeah, we don't have to go anywhere. No, we can always open another beer.
Talking about Wednesday, we have to go. I'm not talking about today.
No, what I want to talk about is. Again, I don't want, so you started, actually, the hashtag, I am craft beer.
No.
Well, no, you didn't, but you kind of popularized it, and you...
Pump the brakes!
Right? Because here's the thing. I want to give Dr. J all of her props.
100%.
She started the I am
craft beer.
I am craft beer. It was because of the email that I received.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, so, but you went with that, and, and it became a bigger thing, so...
Let's talk about that. That is something, because, Brandon and I saw the article separately, and he had told me that he knew you guys had contact via Fishman, and when he sent me, I was like, yeah, I read this, and that's how it all came to be, and for people who don't know.
And shout out to my wife, who does not listen to this podcast. She's the one that sent me the article, and she's like, did you see this? And I was like...
That sounded
I
like
was like,
this bullshit.
I was like, in my head, I'm like, oh, it's my girl Shalanda that I haven't seen in like 6 years. I'm like, great.
I said it to Laura.
And I was like, what is she in the news for? And I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, that's fucked up.
So
And then I was like, I was thinking in my head, like, oh man, I should reach out and talk to her. And my wife literally said, when's she going to be on the podcast? I was like, fuck it, here we go.
and then you sent me the message.
Yeah,
and I was like, I just read the article.
I was like, dude, like we gotta have her on, and it wasn't. And again, like I don't. That's not. Well, it was kind of the catalyst for the conversation, but it like sparked this whole thing. I'm like, you're a woman in craft beer, that enjoys it, and like you literally went through 2 iterations, like the Girls Pint Out. Went on like your own personal sabbatical and then came back and like reinvented yourself with this. And I'm like, it's an amazing story. And that was kind of the catalyst of like, I mean, it sucked that like I read the story and it was like, why are people assholes? Like, don't even bring that into it. But it was also like, and because honestly, I remember when you kind of stepped away from Girls Pint Out. I remember reading something and like, oh, she's no longer part of it. And I was like, I didn't see anything. And then I'm friends with Nick on Facebook. I follow him and stuff like that. And I'm like, he posted stuff about getting married. I'm like, okay. And I remember looking at your Facebook and I'm like, she doesn't talk about beer anymore on her Facebook page. I'm like,
oh, not on my personal Facebook page.
And I'm like, well, and then I went to Girls Pint Out. I'm like, she's not even on there anymore. I'm like, what happened? I'm like, yeah, she's gone. I was like, you know what? Maybe she just doesn't like beer anymore. It's cool. Watching her carbs or whatever. I was like, whatever. And then like that article came out. I was like, son of a bitch. And I went back and I was like reading through your blog and I was like, yeah, we need to talk. Like this.
Yeah, well, it's true. I mean, so this is this is coming from 2 straight white men in America today. To have have you on the show, that I think these are things that need to be talked about. And I was thinking about it. I grew up with women my entire life. Not that my dad was never there, but my dad was really there. I love you, Dad. But I was raised by women, and women have always been a big part of my life. And I've always thought that, you know, women were the original brewers as well, which does not does not get enough credit, which blows my mind that there aren't more women and there isn't more diversity in craft beer, which is slowly but surely happening, and I hope it does continue to grow, because really all it does is just bring more to the table for everybody that enjoys craft beer. So for those who don't know, there was an article posted. You received an email.
Right.
So I'm going to let you take the stage for this part. Good thing we drank all this beer before we got to the real serious stuff.
So it was a Monday. I got this Monday or Wednesday, whatever. I'm buzzed right now.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Sorry we waited so long to get into it. I didn't know if we were getting into it.
September 9th.
There we go.
September 9th.
Remember the date at least.
What day that falls on, I don't remember. But I got this email. Apparently it was sent in the morning, and I didn't get into like later that afternoon, like around 2, after 2 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And I got this email basically calling me every name. Like, basically, I was a B, I was the N-word. I'm like, wait, hold on.
Yeah, if you want to read some garbage, go ahead and find it.
So I'm like, this person is mad. Now, although I have been getting praise as to how I handled it, my initial response was not that.
Yeah, you're way stronger than I think I would have been.
I was looking at my phone, like, because I checked it on my phone. I'm like, what the F? Like, what the? Hold on. And I said, wait a minute. And I was sitting at work. Yeah. So I pulled up my email on my computer at work. I said, you know what? I put this long. He was everything but the child of God in that email. And I was getting ready to hit send. I said, you know what? I'm looking at it. I'm reading through. I said, that's what he wants. So in another window, I started searching this name. Like, okay, I can't even find this person. Like, what's going on? So that means you created this so you can send me this, because you could not even do this on Twitter, because, you know, Twitter would have ate you alive.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes. So I just responded, you know what? Let's have a beer and discussion. And I was genuine about that. Like, if you're that mad with what I'm doing, even though it's not stopping how you eat, how you sleep, and how you get your money, let's have a beer.
Anything. Yeah. Like, no effect on your life whatsoever.
No effect on your life. I'm just a chick that enjoys beer, and like I like to talk about it. So it was like, okay, you know what? Let's have a beer and discuss it. So I actually sent him. What people don't know is I sent like 3 more emails after that. Like, hey, you want to meet up? Are you in the Chicago area? Come on, let's talk about it. If you are not in the Chicago area, let's have a beer over Skype. Yeah. And I still have not received.
You really extended the olive branch on that.
Yeah. So It was just somebody who was bored with their lives and just wanted to make some trouble.
Someone who's angry, they're a coward, and that was the most badass response you could have given, and that's awesome. And I'm glad that an article was written about that to bring it more to light, because there is that conversation of the lack of diversity in general in brewing, but to go after someone who's just talking about beer, I mean, and that's not downplaying anything that you do.
No, that's fine.
At all. That would be someone like...
I'm surely not brewing it.
Not yet.
No, she said she doesn't want to be involved in dealing with all that.
We'll get her in here. After this episode, she's got to be a part of a brew day. But I think it's important that articles like that are brought to light, and it was awesome what came out of the aftermath. And if you want to expand on that, like what came from that article being posted, and the whole, not necessarily the article, but like it was the actual interaction, right?
Yeah, so after that, Dr. J, which I met at Fresh Fest, she's amazing. I love her.
That's pretty awesome.
Yes.
Explain who she is.
She handles, like, she's a part of the Brews Guild, and she handles like the conversations about diversity in beer. So she reached out to me personally, and then after that, she started the hashtag I Am Craft Beer.
Yeah.
So from that, you've seen like hundreds, almost like 1,000 stories of I Am Craft Beer. So we're trying to keep that movement going because it's a discussion that needs to be had. And then like my email, and till this day, I'm still trying to personally respond to emails of people sharing their stories. So if I haven't gotten to you yet, I will eventually. I'm getting there.
There's a lot going on.
I'm surprised our email got answered so quickly.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for that.
It is the thing. It's like so funny because normally I very rarely respond to like Twitter DMs. It just so happens yours was at the very top, and I just so happened to look that day.
Woo! Thank God for the 2.
Yes. But yeah, it's just like
that's awesome.
Just keep the movement, going forward.
And I didn't want to. I definitely didn't want to make the whole show about this because I didn't want it to be about. I'm just saying me on my own personal part here. But that's awesome. I'm really glad that. I sound shitty. I'm really glad that happened. But it did. I mean, it happened. I think I'm glad that the way that the outcome is what happened because I think it really is important. And thank you for everything that you do for craft beer and being someone out there. And what I was thinking recently, now that we have video coming as well, and we're trying to be more responsible in planning episodes, is that March is normally recognized as like Women's History Month.
Yeah, Women's Month. Yeah.
Women's Month. So what I'd like to do, and anybody who listens to this can hold me accountable for saying this, is that it would be really great to have you back on. Definitely, you can come down before that, but I think it'd be cool to have you back in March. I know a home brewer, she would love to come on it.
Yeah.
I think we can probably get in touch with a brewer in our area who might want to be on the episode as well and just feature. And by the way, all 3 of those women, you guys are completely diverse, and that would just be amazing.
March is such an amazing month.
March is awesome. You know what it should be? It should be all the fucking time.
Why?
When people say Mother's Day, I'm like, why is it just one day? Sorry, dads. Dads are important, and I'm a father, and so are you, Brandon.
Not only that,
moms are the best.
That's my birthday is in March, so I'm just saying.
Okay, so now I get what she means. Great.
I'm just saying my birthday falls on 3/12 day.
That's pretty awesome.
There you go.
But that's like I said. The outcome. Thank you for sharing that with us. I don't want to be overshadowed by everything else we were doing today, which was so much fun.
Most definitely.
No, I think this was the best podcast. I think.
Really? Oh.
Hands down.
Yeah.
This has been the best episode. This was so much fun.
The natural conversation and everything has just been so great. Like,
I don't know how much I have to edit from this. I don't think of anything. How long is it?
Tony's an asshole. He's got to edit that.
I got nothing.
We're at about an hour and a half, so
that's perfect. Yeah, that's all right. You guys want to go call it?
We're gonna call it.
Well, thank you so much. Tell everybody where they can find you.
You can catch me on all the social medias at Afro Beer Chick.
Mm-hmm.
That simple, straight to the point.
And
or on my website.
I gave it a very soulful by the way. I went
AfroBeerChick.com. That's what she said.
And then you can, you're already listening to us. You know where you can find us. But thank you again for coming on. We look forward to having you back on,
Thank you,
and hopefully being on your new podcast.
Yes.
We'll get wasted with you and talk about stuff.
Definitely.
That'll be a lot of fun.
We can talk history too if you want.
Drunk history, the beer version.
Well, specific. That would actually be a lot of fun. We should do
Yes.
that. Well, Brandon, I love you. Thank you
you too,
for
man.
always doing the
Thank
show.
you again, Shalonda.
Yeah,
Oh,
Shalonda,
thank you,
thank you so
guys.
much. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Are you down for one more beer?
I'm down.
Music for this episode was provided by Fluid Minds. You can find Fluid Minds music at fluidmindsmusic.com. You can also find them on iTunes, Spotify, and anywhere else music is streaming. The break music was provided by Notebook Noise. You can get Notebook Noise at notebooknoise.bandcamp.com and streaming on iTunes and Spotify. Big thanks to Afro Beer Chick for coming on the show. That was a lot of fun. We look forward to coming on to your show. Find Afro Beer Chick online. Go to afrobeerchick.com and all the social medias. Just look up Afro Beer Chick. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you next time.